Hello, you're watching Sightline. Today in our studio we have Enkhmaa Enkhbold, the Executive Director of the LGBT Centre Mongolia. So thank you very much, Enkhmaa, for coming to our studio.
Thank you for having me.
So the LGBT Centre Mongolia was founded in 2007, but it was officially recognized in 2009. And it's the first and only organization dedicated to upholding the human rights of the Mongolia's LGBTQI plus community. So could you please explain to us what the organization is and also what missions do you have?
Okay, so the LGBT Center has 3 core programs: legal program, youth program, and health program. So through these 3 core programs, we operate to protect and promote the social, cultural, political, and economical rights of the LGBTQI plus Mongolians. We also do an international advocacy since our establishment. In the past decade, we have submitted over 10 shadow reports to the UN human rights treaty bodies and UN Council, and we were able to obtain over 60 LGBTQI plus recommendations from the member states, all of them urging the government of Mongolia to increase and improve the situation of LGBTQI Mongolians.
So what are the common misconceptions the public tends to have about the queer community, the LGBTQI plus community in Mongolia?
You know, there are quite many,
yes.
And for interest of time, I would like to just share 3 of them. And one of them is that LGBTQI identity is somehow a phase. It's like a lifestyle, and unfortunately it's not. We do not choose to become LGBTQI. We are born LGBTQI. So those people who are thinking that we choose to become LGBTQI is mainly because they do not examine the given social construct, the heteronormative social construct. It's the gender binary heterosexual norms. So anybody who's outside of it becomes queer. So that's one of them. And the second one is LGBTQI people are not discriminated against. So people tell us to be silent, to be invisible, but that's not the case. Again, going back to heteronormativity, since the social construct is heteronormative, it's not designed for us, so we are always excluded systematically. So people do not often think about this. And this is a classic example of a heterosexual cisgender privilege. Third one is there are more pressing issues in the society, and LGBTQI issues are somehow bothersome.
It's not like worth to be discussed about even.
And some people believe that we are demanding additional rights, which is not the case. We are demanding equal rights.
So you said that some people say that there are no discriminations against the queer community, but you said that's not true. There are actually lots of discrimination against the community. So what are the common issues and discriminations and the maybe human rights violations against the LGBTQI community in Mongolia?
Well, discrimination and prejudices against us prevails all part of the society. Just one example is our right to form a family.
Yes.
The fact that we cannot get married, we cannot adopt the children, it violates our right to form a family. Another easy practical example is when we are not married, we are not qualified to get bank loan, and it is also violating our economic right. When it comes to our gender diverse people, gender minorities, just walking down the street alone is...
You face lots of threats?
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to healthcare sector, you know, LGBTQI people have a common struggle. However, each sub-community has their unique special needs and issues. For example, trans community and healthcare. Trans specific healthcare is non-existent in Mongolia. It's a very specific science, hormone replacement therapy, gender-affirming surgeries, transition-related counseling. It's not, we do not have it. Of course, the Mongolian physicians, they are able to perform all of it in terms of surgeries, but the legal environment is not set in place.
So it's illegal to just go through a transition in
Yeah,
Mongolia?
that's what doctors say. They say, I cannot remove a healthy organ. The regulations and guidance are not in place. When it comes to hormone replacement therapy, it's just simply not available in Mongolia.
So could you please define some of the difficult terms that are misunderstood sometimes?
Well, LGBTQI plus terminologies are rich. It's developing, continue to develop as we speak. So I will just give a definition of two main terminologies. Sexual orientation. A lot of times people think sexual orientation is a matter of sexual minority, when in fact each and every one of us, regardless of straight or queer, have sexual orientation. Sexual orientation means it is a pattern of emotional, romantic, and sexual attraction to others. So if I'm a woman and I am attracted to a woman, this is called lesbian. If you are a woman and if you're only attracted to men, you are a heterosexual. Gender identity is a deep feeling inside of you, like how you see yourself.
As a woman or as a man?
Male, female,
And non-binary?
both, or neither. So gender identity is something you only know. Unfortunately, in this society, the social, again, going back to heteronormativity, the social structure is gender binary, male and female. Anybody who's outside of it is gender minority.
Yeah. But in Mongolia, is it legal to have your gender changed in the formal documents?
Yes, thankfully we are quite progressive in the region. Unfortunately, this law was revised in 2018, which now demands a medical intervention.
Okay.
So since 2018, up until recently, only one person was able to access. So that's 3 years, and that's not enough. So as I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of international advocacy. So one of our most recent work is we submitted our shadow report to the Universal Periodic Review, which is a UN charter-based human rights mechanism. So this was finally settled in 2021, February. So we were able to obtain 15 LGBTQI specific recommendation, and one of them was a trans specific recommendation. This is a victory for us because we have never obtained such a recommendation. So this trans specific recommendation is on this particular law to have the intervention removed from the law.
The medical intervention.
So the trans people can access the law without having their gender, having their sex changed on their legal document. Trans people struggle with mundane, everyday things, going to the bank, show your ID, or renting an apartment. So it is. We are very excited about this recommendation, meaning in the next 4.5 years, Mongolian government is committed to implement. So we are very excited. This is huge for the trans community.
So we've been talking about the lots of achievements that are being made. So one of the other achievements was the outlawing the discrimination is criminal offense. And before making these changes, what was the situation like? And also, what kind of changes have you seen?
I would really like to see, I have seen improvements, but I haven't. We haven't seen improvements. So the criminal code was revised in 2015, amended in 2015, and it was enforced on July 1st, 2017. It is now 2021. It has been 4 years. During these 4 years, there is only one case.
Hate crime case?
Yes. Only one case that was able to gone through the process of the judicial system. So this is not enough. At the LGBT Center, we document human rights violations on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, and sexual characteristics. We have a lot of documentation. So on the community level, our community hasn't seen improvement. At the movement building level, this is a great progress. We now have something tangible to work with. And then I also want to emphasize on the criminal code, the anti-discrimination clause, the prohibition of sexual orientation and gender identity. This was the first time in Mongolian legislation the terminology sexual orientation and gender identity first entered. So this is also a very, very good thing. It is first time we are legally recognized. So that's good. However, the implementation is not there. So the center, just recently in August, we partnered with General Prosecutor's Office to train 60 prosecutors on hate crime investigation and legal procedures. And then in September, this coming September, we are planning to train 30 more. And we are hoping to have this training program as a mandated course, as a accredited course for prosecutors. So this is more sustainable. So we are very hopeful this will happen. And for this law to be implemented, the government and the community both,
work together.
need to, because there's a lot of mistrust in our community towards the justice system, law enforcement, because there are many cases where people report their cases but outed and then made their situation worse or treated poorly, discriminated. So there is a huge mistrust, and we need to change that.
So you said that there's lots of mistrust in the community against the law enforcement. So what do you think is the reason behind this big mistrust, and also what difficulties does it bring to the wellness of the community?
Well, there are several main reasons. One of them is the pre-existing minority stress that we experience as sexual and gender minorities. The discrimination and prejudices on a daily basis. Second is, so on top of that, when we become a victim of a crime and we supposedly the law enforcement and prosecutors are there to protect us. However, when we go there for support, they discriminate us, outing us to our family.
It means that they're revealing your
identity. And then this will bring a lot of stress to the community. When you are outed without your own will, everybody has their own time to come out.
Yes.
So when you are outed,
when you are not
ready, there are a lot of risks. You may lose your work. You may become homeless. Physical violence, mental violence. So law enforcement officers, they're not well trained to work with sexual and gender minorities. So there's so much to work on that area. So
that's why you're conducting the trainings.
Yes, absolutely. In 2017, the center also partnered with the General Police Department to train 100 law enforcement officers on the particular same issues. So we are trying very hard, but that's not enough. The LGBT Center has only 4 staff, including me. So 3 program managers and me. We are very small, but we have a high hope and dreams for equality, but considering the size of our country, 4 people, 1 organization,
Not enough.
not enough. We need support, especially from our government.
I see. So let's talk about the Equality and Pride Days. So you're organizing the event for the 9th year since 2013. So how are you organizing this year's Pride?
Well, thank you. Equality and Pride Day is very, very exciting. This is our Nadam, this is our Tagansar. This is a very special day for the
Raising
LGBTQI community. So this year is due to the pandemic, all of our events going to be held online. So traditionally, during Equality and Pride Days, we have 5 main events. Equality March. This year we made a video of the community representing the march. The queer community theater, unfortunately, is not possible this year. The Queer Film Festival will be held online on YouTube. This year we added an additional event. We are hoping to make it more traditional, is a mental health care day. It is very important. It is a necessity for our community. And we are also holding public workshops themed at families, parents, couples, diversity training. So these are available online. And there are just so many happening online. In addition to the bus stop public awareness, this year we are adding actual public transportation.
How many buses?
18. 18 buses on 18 routes for 1 month. So it all began last Friday, and it's very exciting.
So you said that you have got a very small staff of 4 people, but there's an opportunity to volunteer at the LGBT Centre Mongolia, right?
Yes, oh, we love our volunteers. Equality and Pride Days are not possible without our wonderful volunteers. In 1 year, we would approximately have about 150 volunteers. So during Equality and Pride Days, it's about 50 very focused volunteers that work at the LGBT Center. And they're just wonderful, and I want to shout out to our volunteers and my team.
Thank you very much, but unfortunately our time is coming to an end. So what final thoughts would you like to share with our audience?
Final thoughts. I have a message for the family and parents of the LGBTQI community. You are so important to your children. You are the initial sense of security for this child.
Of course.
Please be kind to your child and be brave to seek information. Don't be afraid of information, and be patient. I know it's hard to understand because we live in a heteronormative society. However, your children need you. You are the initial security that your children will, they're dependent on you, and it's our movement need you, and you have so much power.
Okay, Enkhmaa, it was a great pleasure to talk to you, and many thanks for sharing your insights and telling us about the activities of your LGBT Centre in Mongolia.
Thank you for having me, MNB World.
You've watched Sightline. Our guest today was Enkhmaa Enkhbold, the Executive Director of the LGBT Centre Mongolia. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.